In this video, we'll take a look at setting up an activity approval workflow. To see how this works, it's important to understand that an approval workflow is assigned to an activity category. This means that the same approval workflow could be used for different activities. We'll consider two roles commonly involved in the process: approval workflow creation, usually an administrator, and workflow approvers, usually an administrator or senior staff member. You'll see a key feature of the workflow process, which determines whether an activity can be edited during the approval process. Let's get started. I'm currently logged in as an administrator. Navigate to Activities and then Activities Setup. Now click Approval Workflow. You can see existing approval workflows listed, how many approval steps are involved, and which activity categories they are used by. Click here to create a new approval workflow. Give the workflow a name. You can also provide a description for a bit more context. I'll create a workflow for sporting excursions. Then carefully consider this option, as this is a key feature of the approval workflow process. Checking this box allows users to edit the activity without affecting the approval workflow. This option is unchecked by default, as it ensures that changes are not made to previously approved steps in the workflow. This means that changes to the activity cannot bypass any of the approval process. If you do check this box, activity creators will be able to make changes to steps in the workflow after they have been approved. It's recommended to carefully consider whether this box is checked or not. Note also that an administrator or approval workflow creator can go back and check this box at a later time if that functionality is required. Then click Add Approval Workflow Step. Enter a name and description if necessary. Make appropriate selections here. Then select approvers for this step, either a group or an individual. You can select more than one individual if that's appropriate. Repeat that process for all the steps in the workflow. Note these two steps which effectively bookend the process. They cannot be removed and don't require approvers. However, you can edit the name of each step. When you've added the steps, click Save. The workflow appears in the list, but it's not assigned to any activity categories. To assign it, navigate to Categories and then select the category you wish to assign the workflow to. In this example, I'll choose Sport. Under Approval Workflow, I'll select the workflow I just created. Then click Save. The workflow is created, the steps in the workflow are defined, and it's been assigned to a category. The approval workflow is now ready for use with an activity.